the lost power of the kingdom of Aksum. Before Rome collapsed, before the British Empire existed, there was a kingdom so powerful that its coins were used from Egypt to India. This is the story of the kingdom of Aksum, an ancient empire from what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea. At its peak, Aksum controlled Red Sea trade, rivaled Persia, and was even recognized by the Roman Empire as a global power. But what made it so mysterious, was not just its power, but how it disappeared. In Aksum's golden age, they built massive obelisks, some taller than modern-day buildings, carved from single pieces of stone, with no cranes or machinery. To this day, no one knows how they moved them. They were the first African empire to mint their own coins, and one of the earliest nations to adopt Christianity, before most of Europe. But then, around the 8th century, Aksum vanished from history. No great war, no natural disaster, just silence. Some say climate collapse destroyed their agriculture. Others whisper of Islamic trade routes bypassing Aksum, cutting it off from the outside world. But some Ethiopian legends speak of something darker, that the kingdom turned away from God and was buried in darkness as punishment. Its greatest city, once filled with gold and scholars, is now covered by forests. Only ruins remain. A superpower buried and forgotten. Why isn't this taught in school? Aksum versus Arabia, the forgotten holy war. In the 6th century, the kingdom of Aksum sailed across the Red Sea, not for trade, but for revenge. This is the forgotten war between Aksum and the Himyarite kingdom of ancient Yemen, a brutal religious war that changed the course of Middle Eastern and African history forever. The Himyarite kingdom had once been Jewish, but in 523 AD its ruler Yusuf Nuwas turned extreme. He began executing Christians, especially in the city of Najran, burning churches and massacring thousands. Word of the slaughter reached the Christian king of Aksum, Caleb, and he was furious. King Caleb launched a massive sea invasion across the Red Sea. It was one of the first cross-ocean military campaigns in history. The war was brutal. Aksumite troops stormed Yemen, defeating Nuwas's forces. The Himyarite king was captured. Some say he was executed, others that he rode into the sea and vanished forever. Caleb installed a Christian puppet king. Aksum now controlled a massive chunk of Arabia, including key trade routes to Mecca and Medina. But their success didn't last long. The dark turn. The puppet king Abraha betrayed Caleb. He declared himself ruler and went rogue, even attempting to invade Mecca with war elephants. Legend says a flock of birds carrying stones stopped him, and Mecca was saved by divine power. This event is still remembered in Surah Al-Fil in the Quran. Aksum never regained full control. The betrayal, cost of war, and shifting trade routes weakened the kingdom for good, and the once mighty empire began to fade from history, ere the bloodline of the Queen of Sheba and the churches carved in stone. She came with gold, incense, and questions for a king. But what she left behind may have shaped a nation. This is the story of the Queen of Sheba, and how her bloodline, her son, and her legacy still echo through Ethiopia's most sacred stone. The Queen of Sheba. You've heard her name in the Bible and the Quran, but Ethiopian tradition says something much deeper. The Queen of Sheba, known as Makeda, journeyed to Jerusalem to test the wisdom of King Solomon. But she didn't just leave with answers. She left pregnant. Her son, Menelik I, became the first emperor of Ethiopia, and from him, a royal line that lasted over 3,000 years. Yes, even Haile Selassie, Ethiopia's last emperor, claimed to be directly descended from Solomon and Sheba, an unbroken bloodline from the Bible to the 1970s. But here's where it gets darker. The Ark of the Covenant? Legend says that Menelik I once returned to Jerusalem and stole the Ark of the Covenant, bringing it to Aksum. Not in a movie, in real Ethiopian belief. They say it still rests in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, guarded by a single monk who can never leave or speak to anyone. He is the only person allowed to see the Ark, and he will die in silence. Centuries after Sheba and Menelik, during the 12th century, a king named Lalibela claimed he had a vision from God. He carved 11 churches into solid volcanic rock, not built but dug straight down. No modern machinery, no blueprints. Some believe angels helped him finish the work in a single night. One church, Beit Georgis, is shaped like a perfect cross, hidden deep below ground level. It's said to be completely silent inside and no echo, no sound. Even today, monks still pray, chant, and live in those churches, as they have for 800 years.